I've spent over 5 million on meta ads for different brands, and I've always been looking for something that allows us to have a competitive edge when it comes to advertising. And one thing that is extremely underutilized, and I see very few advertisers actually take advantage of this, is something that I'm going to show you in this video. Because when you test an ad, the usual variables that people are thinking about is the ad copy, the creative itself, the image, the video, the carousel, the headline, and the landing page. But what if I told you that there's another variable that has a huge impact on performance that is only really being used by the top brands? And one brand that I'm going to show you as an example here is Grüns. They just had a $1.2 billion exit. Pretty insane. And this is the example I'm going to show you here. Before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, my name is Oli. I help e-commerce brands all over the world get better results for their Facebook ads. I've managed millions in ad spend and helped multiple 7- and 8-figure brands really scale profitably. And this YouTube channel is just where I share the lessons and learnings for free with you guys. So if you want to see future videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you have any questions to anything that I'm talking about, just leave those questions in the comments. It really helps with getting views on these videos and making the YouTube algorithm push them out there. So this is an ad from Grüns. And the normal way of running ads is just connecting your normal Facebook page to the ad right here. So you'll see the brand name, which in this case is Grüns, the ad copy, the creative, the headline, etc. But the thing is, if you're targeting someone who has never heard about the brand, so let's say you've never heard about Grüns before, well, this piece here with the logo and the brand name is not really going to improve the performance. It's not going to build any context. It's not going to give your ad any specific type of framing. It's just going to be another brand name. But what if we could run this same ad from a page like this? This specific ad is also talking through women's gut health. It's talking about that specific angle. And what we can do then is we can set up a free Facebook page and connect that to the ad that builds context and better framing for your ad. And now you run that same ad through this Facebook page. And what is going to happen then is you're now going to have some context being built before anyone even starts looking at your ad. They're going to see this name, Women's Gut Health. If it is a female that's viewing the ad and they're interested in gut health, they're immediately going to start looking at the ad with the right context and with the right framing. So this is something that's extremely underutilized. And I've been testing it for over a year at this point. We've been running this strategy. We call it the Facebook page white label method. And I'll just show you an example here of one account that we're managing. So just you have to look past these drafts here. Just look at these two bottom ads. As you can see here, this is a test that we ran where we had the same ad and one of them is connected with a white label page, WLP. That's just our code word for like this ad is connected to white label page. So what we did here is we created a page name that builds better framing for the ad. It actually helps someone who's seeing our product or our ads for the first time by, actually building context and also doing a bit of a call out. The page name is calling out the people that are interested in it. And that's also a great data signal for Andromeda. As you probably know, the targeting now is happening on the ad level. So if you have a bit of a call out happening in the page name, kind of the same way that you see in this example, women's gut health, that is almost going to call out women that are interested in gut health just because of the way we structure the name. So we've done the exact same strategy here. And as you can see here, this ad became a winner. It got a better CPA, a lot more volume, and was a lot more scalable for this account. And this is just one example. We have multiple examples of this where we're testing page names. We're setting up page names that just create more context and better framing for the ads. There's a bunch of benefits of doing this strategy. I'll show you a few here. So number one is, as I said, the perception of the ad itself. It's better framing. It builds context before anyone even looks at the ad, which creates less cognitive load for someone who's viewing your ad for the first time or seeing your product for the first time. They don't need to watch 10 seconds before they understand what it is about. They're already going into the ad with the right context. It also doesn't look as much as an ad. When you just see a brand name on top of the ad, you immediately understand that, oh, this is a company advertising to me. But if you run a page name that's, women's gut health, that could essentially be a blog, a news page, or something like that. It doesn't have to be a brand, right? So that's also a great way of doing this. And you can also build it to create authority. If someone doesn't know the brand name, it's not going to build any authority unless they already know that this is an established, successful brand that has good products. And it also implies some expertise. So for example, here when we're using women's gut health, it builds a bit of authority because the page name itself implies that the posts that are coming from this page is specifically only focused on gut health. So it implies some expertise on that specific topic, which builds the authority. And that's also a reason why this works really well if you use a page name that actually aligns with the ad itself. Now, the second thing, as I talked about, targeting on meta ads today is all about just the algorithm figuring out who to place your ads in front of. So the targeting is actually happening on the ad level. And one thing that's going to happen here is that everyone who's not a woman, who's not interested in gut health, is not going to stop and look at the ad. We're already filtering who is starting to view the ad by just having a very intentional page name here. So because of that, very quickly, that data is going to be passed back to the ad set that we placed this ad inside of. And it's going to tell Meta, hey, none of these people are interested. Let's not show this ad to any men or anyone who's not interested in gut health. Pretty quickly, you're sending relevant data back and the targeting just is way more effective. And that is how Andromeda works. Now, another huge benefit that's very overlooked with doing this strategy is the operational benefits. When you set up your own Facebook page, you don't have to pay a creator. Like, you own this page. You're not at the mercy of anyone who you have a contract with or anything like that. You own the page. You can run the ads from this page as long as you want without paying anyone anything. So that's a huge reason why this is an amazing strategy. And also operationally, it gives you page level protection. What that means is if for whatever reason this page gets flagged or gets banned or whatever, that hasn't happened in our case, but it could potentially happen. But even if that happens, you probably have multiple pages running, right? So those ads that are running from that page, you might not be able to run with them anymore, but then you can still run ads through the other pages that you've set up. So there's no limit to how many pages you can set up, at least to my knowledge. We usually never set up more than 10 pages per brand. Reason for that is usually at that point we have figured out which pages work, and then we just keep running with those and we just find those winning page names and we keep just connecting those to the relevant ads that we run with. And sometimes we test the same ad with the two different pages just to see what page name gives better results and better framing. Now, the top brands are using this strategy a lot, and the top brands have usually a lot of budget, a lot of capital. And what they usually do is that they actually go to established pages. Instead of setting up new pages, they go to creators or Facebook pages or Instagram accounts that already have established following, because that's obviously going to support the results a lot. So that's one downside of setting up a new page, is that if anyone clicks on that page and checks out that Instagram or Facebook page, you're not going to have any engagement on there. You're probably not going to have a lot of page followers or anything like that. So that's the only downside to it. But we still see amazing results even with like brand new pages that we set up, especially on the Facebook placement, because a lot of people on Facebook, they don't actually click on the page and go and look at the profile. On Instagram, that is a bit different. If you run the strategy through Instagram, but you don't have any posts or any engagement on that Instagram account, then that could have some negative impact, because what people usually do when they see ads on Instagram, before they actually click on the ad and go onto your website, very often they would go and just look at the profile and go through some posts and kind of do their initial research on the page itself. So if you don't have followers and just some credibility on the page, then that could be a negative and it might not work well for you on Instagram. But what Groons do, so just to come back to that example, as you can see here, they go and they find pages such as here. I'll just show you this example here, where they go to this doctor and they say, hey, can we run ads to your Facebook page or Instagram account or both? And then we give you X% of the spend that goes on this ad, right? So you either do like a percentage of spend, or do you give they have a set amount that they charge for this type of setup. It just really depends, but usually it's one of those setups. But by doing this for top of funnel type of ads, this is going to be great, because here they're building a lot of authority. So here they're running a really educational top of funnel type of ad. It takes quite a while before they start showing the actual product. Let's see how long it takes before the product actually shows. There you go. So after 48 seconds, now he starts showing the actual product. So before that, he's just really honing in on the problem itself before he shows the solution. But what's happening here is that because they're connecting this guy's own page, all of the authority and credibility for people that already know about this guy or people that don't know about him, but they see that he's a doctor, all that credibility is going straight into the ad itself. So let's actually have a look at this guy's profile just to see how much credibility is on there. So as you can see, this is the page that they're running it through on Instagram. And then obviously also he has a Facebook page connected that they're running this ad through. And as you can see, when people click on the profile to kind of see how much authority, credibility that this guys have, they can go through and look at his content, etc. Right? So that's a great way to do top of funnel. And Gruins are doing this not just with like doctors and stuff like that. It's another example. I'm just in Meta Ads library. As you can see, this is a creator where they're running the partnership setup with this creator right here. And if we click onto her page just to see how much credibility and authority she has, you can see she has 3.1 million followers on Facebook. And let's look at what she has on Instagram as well. Right, on Instagram here, she has 5.4 million. So this is definitely going to be really, really big for this brand using this in their ads. It's really going to lift performance. But the downside is it's going to be massively expensive. And she probably charges a lot for Gruins to be able to do this, which for a lot of brands is not going to make sense. I made a separate video in the past where I show you the exact process of setting up these pages and also how to name them properly. I'm going to leave the link to the video in the description. It's also going to pop up here somewhere that you can click on. So go and watch that video and you can use my custom GPT that's set up to help you come up with the page name. So there's a few different ways that I like to set up the page name. So either it's going to be review style, tips and blog style, community style, gift occasion based, trend discovery pages. So there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of think about ways to structure that page name. So I would highly recommend go and check out this video. I show you step by step exactly how to set up these pages. So again, check out that video and start testing out this strategy. There's no downside to doing it. It's free and you can test the ads that you have already running and you can see if you can create some better framing for those ads and get better results. So if you found this video valuable and you want more hacks and tips like this, make sure you subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment down below. And also, if you're looking to work with a partner to help you manage your ads and scale your ads, as well as developing highly effective creatives, you can click the link in the description to apply to work with me and my team. So wish you a great day ahead, and hopefully you found this valuable.